Welcome, Justin.
To Forever Exiled. I'm Justin, aka Tags.
And I'm Tyler, Wrecker of Days.
Keeping it in.
Gotta watch myself.
Episode 253 of Forever Exiled is here. And I'm sure we got lots to talk about. What's up? Patrons, thank you for everybody who resubbed out their Patreon this week. We love your faces. Patreon gets you access to After Dark. It's our podcast after the podcast, where we just continue to talk about stuff and things. And yeah, you get that. So thank you to everybody who supports the podcast. We love you. And also, I'm going to note it again at the beginning of the episode. We have a Discord. If you're not on our Discord, pop in there and say hi. Very fun Discord. It is actually the best PoE community. So thank you to everybody who's part of that community. We love you.
Sorry, my wasn't like sarcastic.
Super sarcastic. It was.
No, but I wanted to say
sarcastic.
like, yeah, it is. Take that. And then I was like going to challenge people that are, like other community Discords. But then I couldn't think of anything, and we love them equally.
Yeah. Well, not so totally. No.
Just a little bit less,
yeah.
I couldn't think of anything appropriate.
It was
challenging.
How was your week, buddy?
I had a good week. It's already gone.
It is, yeah.
What did I do?
I don't know. You had a rough Monday. I know that.
Oh, right. Thank you. So we were at the park, my family, and we were doing like a small little picnic. Kids are running around playing at the park. We had a blanket and some snacks, and so we're just hanging out. I'm already having a bad health day, and I probably shouldn't have gone. I like doing the family stuff, but I probably shouldn't have gone because it's just a little too much of a walk for me. And then I didn't have the normal respite that I would normally need afterwards, just because of what's required as a parent and an individual while I'm there. And so I end up, while I'm sitting, and I'm just sitting on the ground on the blanket, but I'm sitting and then I fall asleep, and I'm not supposed to do that. My neck, because of its precarious situation, it's not allowed to hang or have pressure against it. Basically pretend I'm in a neck brace all the time, but I'm not. But I fell asleep, and so my head's hanging forward, which is already really bad for my neck. And then I think I fell over while I was sleeping. And that does not sound like a big deal to anybody, but if you're a first-time listener, I deal with concussion issues and I have major neck problems. So any type of that kind of force is a big deal. Like, it can screw me up for life. It could screw me up for a week, depending. So at least the minimum is it screws me up for like a few days to a week straight. And so luckily nothing long-term as far as I can tell happened. But when Aaron woke me up, I was out of it. I could barely walk home. They considered leaving me there and then picking me up with the car later. Mm-hmm.
But they weren't going to pick you up.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we'll come back. So yeah, no, it was just really rough.
So there's a dead guy in the park. Just go pick him up.
Right. No, I don't know who he is. I just found him. But no, so it was a rough few days after that of not getting anything done and just trying to get back to having a non-foggy brain and Yep. And because I don't normally take drugs, like even just Tylenols or Advils, it made sure I was up on them so that I could use my neck. And, but I'm not used to that. So I was a little bit, I guess, foggy, you could say, with that. So, so yeah, I guess I'm just back to yesterday was the first real day I had. And I watered the plants that's how I rewarded myself. I watered the plants.
By hand, of course.
And I mean, we can get into this, but I was dying a lot in Path of Exile. I'm trying a new build, and so some of that is just seeing if some of these changes work. But I noticed that while I'm playing, I'm not really progressing with my maps. I'm kind of stuck. I'm not getting new maps, so I'm kind of stuck. And so I'm doing the same content outside of mod combinations. I'm doing the same content, and I noticed that I died way more from the time that I fell, right? To like those couple days where I'm trying to recoup, and I'm just like, man, what should I do with my time? I died way more. So I haven't really been properly. I haven't really been testing properly the build. But part of that was because I noticed I was like, man, I just can't play right now. Like, I'm just not reacting properly. I can't even see what's on the screen. I'm like, come out of my zone out and I'm dead. And I'm like, okay, well, Great. And so I'm like,
Stupid
you know what though?
pathofexile.
Yeah, stupid game, stupid fiction balance. But no, so I've since they added the changes to the base types, they added the new base types that unlock at item level 84. The short version of what I want to say is how I organized how items worked.
You mean monster level 84, but yeah.
How I restricted items in T16 plus maps before required some creativity and personal preference, because some of them started dropping at item level 68, and that was the highest tier. So this allowed me to continue the normal structure that I did without the creativity, but as a result I took the opportunity to revamp my filter. So instead of going from 10,000 lines, I've got it so that it's doing the exact same thing, along with the new thing that I wanted to add with the new base types that were included, but down to like 2,000 lines. So now it's way more complex. Well, probably way more difficult to edit or fix things, but I've condensed it. You know what I mean? So by condensing it means there's just less room for error, and things have to be in the exact spot. The old way was super easy. There's no way for me to screw it up. And I did that while foggy. So I'm not, we nailed it. So I'm not applying it until next league. I'm going to use the whole league to test it out instead of just a few weeks. So yeah, I really maximized my week. Yeah. How about you, man? I asked you how you were doing earlier in the week, and you seemed like you were running around like your head was cut off.
Yeah, this week's been insane. We haven't recorded since Wednesday because I went away.
Yeah, so that's a week and a half.
Yeah, we took off to Merritt. Had my wife's birthday the day before we recorded. Had my daughter's birthday while we were up at Nicola Lake. Had my mom's birthdays today. So happy birthday to everybody in my life that's had their birthdays in the last week. But it's been busy. Nicola Lake was really fun. We went up there and hung out.
And nobody died of being poisoned by the water.
We didn't go in that lake. We ended up instead driving an hour up to Lac Lejeune.
Oh, that's a nice lake.
Really nice lake. Yeah. So we spent a day up there, and then it was fun. It was frustrating for me. And then also we had my daughter's birthday on Monday, the holiday. We had a holiday out here on Monday. Happy BC Day to all the BC people.
Yay. I do love BC, actually.
I do too. But so my daughter wanted a lake birthday. So we, which was really cool. All the family came, which was awesome. Like everybody in our family and my wife's family came out for her birthday. So we hung out for the day at the lake. It was frustrating for me. Like even when we were up in Nicola Lake, my back's just not been in a great spot. And so I feel like I'm missing out on a lot. Like I'm there, like as a body, but I can't do anything. Like I can't go out. Yeah. It sucks. I really do. It's there's a bit of a mental part to it because I feel like I'm missing out on some fun stuff. We had the paddle boards out and the kids and my wife's taking all the kids out, and we've got all of our family and, friends are taking the paddle boards out, and you're kind of just sitting there going like, I want to go home. My back hurts and it sucks. So
yeah, it does. I've been telling my wife the same thing. I sat down the edge of the bed the other day and was just saying the exact same thing. Like some days it's fine to swallow because those are the cards you're dealt. And some days it's like, okay, yep, these are the cards I've been dealt. Let's make the best of it. And other days it's just like, man, I wish I could play catch. Man, I wish I could, like you said, paddleboard. Like, not for us, but to be there with the kids. Like
my girls wanted me to take me out.
Yeah, exactly. Like my daughter, when we were in on vacation at my in-laws' place, and she's not at the stage where she notices that this is offensive, but she's like, Dad, I wish I had a dad that could swim with me in the pool. Yeah. Or like, right. What was it? Do cannonballs. No, that's what it was. Yeah. I wish I had a dad who could do cannonballs. Mm-hmm. Doesn't bother me. But then some days you remember that kind of stuff later, and it applies to other things that they're not saying too. So I know what you mean. I'm not trying to take it from you. So I'm sorry that you felt like you were missing out.
Yeah, it was a little bit tough, but you know what? They had a good time, and overall, everything was fun. Everybody was happy, so that was good. And what else did I do this week? It was wicked busy for work, like crazy. It always is coming back from a holiday, but just in general, this week was busy, and next week is just as bad. But in general, life is good. There's I'm still trying to deal with this this hospital in South Korea. So our buddy has been helping me, which has been really good. And yeah, we'll just see what happens from there.
Nice.
Good week though overall. It was fun. We had a good trip. Everyone had a good time, and then we came back and worked. And I like being busy, so
good.
It's been good. What else? I think that's.
Well, I was going to say, for anyone else that kind of deals with stuff like we do, where, you know, the medical situation, just the cards you've been dealt, they, you know, there's the pessimistic side, but, you know, and this isn't to be extreme, but, you know, I have to remind myself, be thankful I'm around to see it. There's a lot of families where it's maybe a family situation where they're just not together or not alive or whatever it is. So sure, there's the missing out factor, but man, to get to experience it anyway, like try and enjoy the laughter instead of feel bad that you're not there with the laughter type of thing. Try and enjoy.
I mean, that's a big part of it. Like when you for me, seeing the kids happy and having a good time is it's a really big thing. And there was just recently in a city nearby us a terrible accident where a mom and her son passed away in a car accident. And I'm just going like, man, we have a lot of good things. So yeah. And I'm also very, very lucky for just whatever my own personal mental health state. I'm really strong in that space, and I know there's a lot of people who aren't. So if you're not, get help, talk to somebody.
Yeah, in a good, encouraging way, not like
100%. It's so good. You know, you need to be able to talk. I luckily have people in my life that I can talk to, like my buddy Ty.
But he never does.
But I could.
Hey, Just, how you doing?
I could.
Good. How was your week? Horrible. You want to talk about it? No, it was good. That's it. I got it. No, Justin does. He opens up, and it's good. I'm glad he does.
Yeah. What do we got?
On the more important things, though, yeah. How's your lawn looking?
It's green.
Hey, good. Is it splotchy, or did it fill in?
No, it filled in actually pretty good. It's actually looking pretty decent in the front. I got out of my car the other day, and there's like one stupid mushroom that's just right in the middle of the lawn. I was like, I'll let you live for now.
I like the mushrooms. I like the mushrooms. My lawn, not one bare spot front and back filled in all season.
Really? Your lawn looked fine when I was by whatever day that was.
If you took a look, there's splotches. Yeah. And I don't like it. I'm fine with the clover. Like I'm fine with the clover and the soft flowers, but every other weed has to go. And so, but I mean, that's like 2 seasons ago now, where I went to town, got rid of all those weeds, and like
you should just
nothing's
try
been growing in.
Having someone treat your lawn once a year, like at the time of the year that they do it, do weed spray. Save yourself that trouble of benching down and pulling out one weed at a time, and just have someone do a weed spray.
I could, but it still doesn't, unless it doesn't encourage the overgrowth, though. I could ask them to oversee, but like hate doing that.
They do them at different times,
But I'm worried about not worried, but wondering why the spots aren't growing in.
Maybe you just the thing with when you overseed anyway, if the seed gets dry even a bit, it's a dead seed. Mm-hmm. So it's possible that we had such a hot July. And you seeded relatively early into July. So it would have been pretty tough to keep that completely wet the whole time.
But even without that, the grass is growing into my garden. No problem. I wish, but it's not growing into the bald spots on the lawn. So maybe
you put soil down as well when you did those.
Well, the thing is, it's not topsoil. It's like that stupid. It's not a top dressing. It's the dirt that you buy from Home Depot or whatever, and it's half wood chunks. So it's not really valuable. Like it's almost half bulk march type of thing.
Yeah.
But like I really want the ground to be soft, and it is rock solid. Like it's not fun to walk on or play on. And I've looked up 100 million times how to soften the ground. I do it twice a year. Like every time they come, whether it's fall or spring, I'm like, yep, do it. Yep, do it. Yep, do it. And it just does not seem to do anything. I've been happy to see the moles having a fantastic time in the yard. I probably have about 20 little mole hills.
Well, they're hoping to soften it up a bit.
Yeah, that's great. They should come to the front yard. But anyway, yeah, it's not. They need to come more often because the ground's still too hard.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, we'll see. But I'm glad yours is good.
There is stuff you can treat with to soften the soil. I've seen it before. There is stuff that you can use. I don't know what it does to the grass, but I have definitely seen stuff that you can treat with for softening the soil.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but now you got to suck it up till fall anyway. You can't do anything really until probably mid-September, late September. It depends on how this summer goes. So far, it is a scorcher. Unless you're in Calgary. Jesus, did you see what happened in Calgary?
I did.
Hail? What? What is happening?
But that's Calgary, though. I mean, I used to joke even back when we were in high school that like it'd be snowing at the end of April.
Yeah, their weather is
and then
bizarre.
The very next day would be 20 degrees.
But this was like destructive hail.
Yeah,
it was crazy how much damage it caused.
Size.
Yeah, I saw the airport just flooded. Holy crap! Anyway,
nothing like a glass roof.
Yeah. Let's talk some PoE.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
In our notes section here for this week in PoE, it looks like there's a lot, but there's nothing. Like it's all patch notes. There's a weekend stash sale, concept art, microtransactions, and then lots of fixes.
And some of their hot fixes were pretty good, like increasing some gold drops from some stuff, changing the difficulty of some stuff. I didn't read this D one. It was interesting. The Sap of the Seasons one, I guess it's a tincture, but then they actually released an entire post just explaining why they changed it.
So
it must have caused a problem.
Yeah, it's a mid-season build change.
It must have been a pretty big overhaul of whatever that tincture is. So
yeah, I appreciate that post. I mean, it doesn't impact me at all. It's not something that I use, but obviously there's people that dedicated their entire league launch to said idea. Of course, because there's a post, there was likely some broadcaster was pumping it out. So a lot of people were using it. Therefore, tons of people were like, I don't know, calling it, but like, oh yeah, I'm using the SAP build or whatever, probably comment like that. So I think it's really nice that GGG goes out and just apologizes and explains why, but still had the guts to go through with it because of the explanation, to paraphrase, was basically, we have to make a change to this because this is so powerful that people have to play it. Like, you're kind of an idiot for not playing this build, so we have to change it. So that's still crazy powerful, but at least it's not overly or so much so that you feel like you have to play it.
Your dog is like, get the spot. Get the spot. Yeah, there you go, Riley. You got it. That's the one. We'll see if this noise keeps in. But right now we're just enjoying Tyler's dog. Man, dogs are funny, hey? Like, what is it that they're trying to get? I just imagine her right now turning around and looking at you and being like, what?
My dog's been digging in her bed, trying to like move the mounds around for like the last minute. I don't know, like sometimes you want to be helpful, but when you can't speak to the individual, like I have a blanket right here. If I put that blanket on the bed, does it screw up all the work that she's been doing?
Like, God dang it, I got to start over.
Right. Or is it helpful because it actually gives her more options?
I'm curious in the end. So she's lying down now. Did any of that digging do anything? Did it?
Yeah. The lump is now exactly where I wanted in my chest bone.
Anyway, yeah, so that was this week in PoE. There's just a lot of hot fixes.
Yeah.
Do you know how the game is on Xbox right now?
I loaded it on standard once because I had people complaining about zombie survivability, and they were complaining about it in the league content, not the core content, but I loaded it up on standard anyway, just to see, and then to unlock, there was a glitch. Oh, it scared the crap out of me. There was a glitch unlocking the Atlas on standard, but I loaded it up to check it out, but I didn't do any league content with it. Why? What was your question?
Well, you were having problems with the Xbox. It was like, wasn't it like not playable for a while, like last league?
Oh, because of how flashy it was.
Right. There was something wrong.
I didn't notice it this time. I'd forgotten about it. So, and I didn't notice it when it came to light this time.
Cool.
I still think the lightning strike enemy mod that exists, where it's which I still think that could be removed from the game. I notice that every single time it's there. It's insanely loud and obnoxious. It's bright. Like, you have 10,000 mods. You don't need 10,001. We're good. Just get rid of it.
There's some visual, I assume it has to be a visual bug, and I get it all the time. I can't imagine it's a purposeful skill, but there is just a massive yellow-white ball it's just huge on my screen, and it looks like the sun, and it's not like it's a skill that's gone off. It's not like it causes me damage, but it is brutal how big and bright it is, and you can't see anything underneath it. Anyway, how was your week of playing? Or what'd you do? What's going on? Because we don't really have much to talk about Path of Exile wise, like with regards to them doing anything new.
Oh, I have lots of gameplay stuff to talk about, though. I can talk about it for hours today. Give me a quick sec. My mom's going to be here in a second to pick up my kids, and I need to make sure they're ready to go.
Yep.
Quit talking about me.
This time I didn't. So what were we going to talk?
We're just getting into how our stuff's going. You go ahead. I had a little bit of a ramble at the beginning with health and stuff, so you go ahead.
Oh, that's fine. My week. Oh, hold on, let me get that little coffee through in there just for fun. My week playing was really good. I played through with my lightning strike guy for a bit, and then I just kind of hit a spot where I was like,
hang on, can I say it? It? I'm gonna 1, 2, 3. Surprise!
So you know what? I had conversations with people this week in Global 2121 about my build, and the debate about whether I was going to tell you that I had changed, and I would have just lied through this episode about lightning.
That's right. Yeah, I'm still having
lightning strikes going well.
Strike time. Strikes
Can't
are
get
great.
past 93. It's just stuck there.
Yeah, and then it's like all of a sudden it's like I don't have the guts to have a say. No, I need to be an unfriended account with Tyler. So now you have like a
you can't see my character online or whatever.
They really do need to fix all that social basic crap. Hey, like friends lists, like having maybe favorites, you know what I mean? Like at least have a 2-tier ranking system. So, and then to be able to do a little bit more with your friends list, like even have like a offline mode if you don't want people knowing you're online because you only got 30 minutes or whatever.
And there's a capped how many you can have. So I run into a problem where I have to.
What, friends?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. So,
so that's why you're not friends with Josh online?
Nah, he gets removed every time he stops playing. I'm like, you're out. But yeah, so I did switch. I played Lightning Strike for a bit and was having fun, cleared all the Atlas with it. And then I was like, man, I need to do a slam. I thought I could wait to the private league, but I couldn't.
Yeah, so, that's a big surprise. I thought you really would have held out there.
Shut up.
Way to go, buddy. No, but that's, you know what? It's fun. Like you got to scratch an itch while hanging on a moment because my mom is here to take the kids. Good talk. I have to install the booster seats in my mom's car. I thought she would have done that.
Oh, that's fine, man. I'm doing some work, so just take your time.
Ready.
All right. So what were we talking about?
Check it out. I was just saying goodbye.
Oh. Yeah.
And it was a good time to pick some peppers.
Did you pick those peppers? You grew those?
Well, yeah, but you see, I thought I picked bell peppers, but both of my pepper plants are growing quite. They look identical, and I know they're different. But one is a very hot pepper that I was going to slowly start introducing to all like the ground beef and stuff to the kids, so that they're like, I don't care if they like spice or not, but I want them to be able to tolerate it a bit. So I do. Sneak in some pretty spicy stuff just so that they get used to it, and then they're not having to run to the bathroom like if they go to a buddy's place and they're of an ethnicity that's, you know, it's like, this isn't spicy, what's wrong with you? And of course my kids are like running to the bathroom, so I try and, but I can't tell. So I'm kind of like, maybe should I have a bite and see if this is the plant? Is this the spicy plant or the not so spicy plant?
You're probably not the best person to judge that, because you like the spice.
You know, I do like the spice, but my body is no longer capable of allowing me to like the spice. I cannot be too far from the bathroom on spicy days.
Well,
would you like to talk about it?
I would love to talk about whatever you want to talk about, as long as you're going to talk into the mic. That's what I would love.
Sure. Yeah, I could do that. But see, would you like to talk about bidets into the mic?
I love a good bidet.
Mm-hmm. All right, good talk.
My
kids are gone, so now it's, unless the dog's doing something, we're not going to be interrupted. My wife is at work. My kids are gone. The hoes are on their way over.
It's party time. We're currently booking my wife. I love how we just shifted off of PoE. People listening, listen, you have to know there was like a 10-minute break.
At least,
so
yes.
It's like squirrel. We just move on to a new topic whenever we want. We're sorting out my wife because she's going to go to Chile for 2 or 3 weeks with her mom. So we're just sorting out flights and stuff. And I was talking to a guy.
Not the kids, not you, hey?
No.
Because you still haven't been, you said, which really surprised me when you said that last time.
No, I have not. That's right. We were in Peru. And when we were in Peru, I sent my wife and daughters. Yeah, my wife and daughters went to Chile to visit her grandma because her grandma was clothes ready.
Yeah, nice. We're good.
They were going to visit her grandma just because her grandma she was definitely like she lived a really long life, so they were going to go visit her. So no, I have not been. I will at some point go, but this is just her mom wants to go see this famous. I don't know if he's a singer or violinist or something that she's always wanted to see. And so they were going to go see him. He's only playing in like Europe and South America and stuff. And so I said, well, so go. Like, you should go. That'll be a fun trip with your mom. So we're just figuring that out. Anyway, the guy in my office was like, so you're going to be bacheloring it for a couple weeks. I'm like, guy, I have 3 kids in my house. That's not quite. Christina's like, you mean single dadding it? That's what I'm going to be doing.
That's right.
Like a pro. Mm-hmm. Anyway, okay, slams. I decided I was going to play slams.
Oh yeah, we're talking about your
my big switch.
Well, when you can throw it to anything you want, whether it's the gender that you're interested in or an archetype that you like. There's just, you have to do it, right? You can explore anywhere you want, but if you've got that itch, you're a slam guy.
Yeah, and it was such a good league to do it. And the one thing that's really nice with slams is there's a lot of room to switch the skill up really easily. Like, you're not married to ground slam, or like I've tried out Sunder. Right. I played with ground slam. I'm currently using earthquake. Like, there's earth shat. Like, you can literally try and swap things out with very minimal change required to your build, which I really do like about that. So I wish a lot of other skills are like that too. Yeah, there's not many. It is a really tough thing to do. So I have settled on earthquake currently because I'm really liking just the feel of it, and it just looks cool. Sunder's probably one of my favorite looking skills, but Sunder just doesn't work in mapping.
It's very narrow. Is it considered? Does it have an AoE tag?
I don't know if it does, but it's too conal. It's really hard to map.
Very narrow. Did you say conal?
Conal. Yeah.
Is that a real word?
Yes, it is.
We're looking it up.
How do you even spell it?
I think that's something you ask. Toronto police officer sentenced to 4 years in prison.
For conal?
Somehow I typed in conal. Oh, that's Conal Quinn. Sorry, Mr. Quinn. I didn't mean to bring you up on the podcast. That was in February, though. So
if you were guilty,
news. All right, let's ask AI quick. Shut up, Justin. Is AI? No.
Boy. Tyler's learning.
Is conal a word? Oh no, it's spelled kernel.
Kernel is a word.
So yes.
I'm pretty sure conal's a word.
Yes, colonel is a word. It refers to a high-ranking military official. Thank you, Gemini. Not like you had a hope in hell on that one. I can't review you on that. But all right, so conal. Yes, well, it is very narrow. It is very narrow.
It might not be used for, maybe it's not right in the sense of a real word, but I'm going to say it's conal. It's very narrow.
It makes perfect sense in an ARPG land.
Yeah, you get what I'm talking about. So yeah, but it was so fun. I just love Sunder. I love the look of it. It just sounds cool. It's such a great skill. And I do really like ground slam as well. So I was playing with ground slam of earth shaking, I think. And but earthquake is, especially with bleed. Oh, I love bleed. I love it.
That is a perfect skill. Just how slow you should be hitting with earthquake with bleed, as long as your bleed chances. How are you getting your bleed chance? You have chance to bleed?
Not the support, but I do have 100% chance to bleed from the tree. So it's awesome. I'm freaking.
Oh, was it easy to
loving
get?
it.
Or did you have to focus on it?
Well, I definitely had to focus on it. It wasn't hard for me to get it on the tree, but man, does it feel good. Like, I just love watching. Actually, I might not be quite at 100%, might be 90. I have to double check, but it feels so good. I love when something is bleeding, especially with that big of a hit. And I did go chieftain. You and I think talked about that. I wasn't sure what I would play, but I really wanted to go marauder. I did not. I know a lot of people are probably playing it like slayer or something on the duelist side, but I really wanted to go. Probably berserker's probably pretty popular too, but I wanted
Why'd
to
you
go
go chief?
For a couple of reasons. One, I just love the ease of resists, right? Like you go all the way to Valaco and you get the +1 or any of your pluses to max fire.
To interrupt, I feel when I'm the chief, I feel obligated to use Purity of Fire. Are you doing the same? Okay. Just because the max resists, right?
Yeah, it is nice. I think if I was really, really going to push fire resist, which I'm not, I'm using the fire resist is just nice because I think I'm at 84, but I'm definitely going to be pushing close to 90% max resist once I get all the stuff I want for it. But I'm not pushing my fire resist so high that Purity of Fire would make a big benefit if I was going to take one of the fire masteries for, like, you know, the for your overcap, you get life regen, which I'm not. There's just no node that makes sense. I'm wasting 3 points just to get that because none of the fire nodes really benefit none of the main ones or whatever benefit my build. But I did go to get Tukahama for supported skills in your body are Ancestral Call and Fist of War.
Okay.
It feels so good.
And you went the Warcry route, or did you go Hinekora?
No, I went Scion and then Tukahama.
Are you finding a value to infinite power for your Warcries? Like, are you finding that you
you're always capped endurance, right? So I'm always capped on my endurance charges. I'm always capped on my, like, the biggest benefit to it is getting to Tukahama, but you're getting the increased buff effect. I'm using 4 Warcries, which I have to say that part of it, and I'm going to bring that up, really don't like. I've tried the auto exertion. Auto exertion to me is not fair. I think it's too...
It's going to change. Auto exertion is going to change.
I know there's a lot of people using it. I have talked to people. The problem is I'm going blood magic, which makes it so that I really can't use auto exertion because my life is like, I cut it in half just by doing that. But I also found with auto exertion, so there's a lot of benefit to an enemy being tagged by one of my Warcries for me to be doing increased damage to them. And with auto exertion, I'm not triggering when I want the Warcry to go off, even though I want my Warcry to be technically going off every like 8 seconds or whatever. If it happened to have gone off as I'm approaching a mob, with auto exertion, I got to wait till it chooses to go off again. So now that enemy has not been tagged by one of my Warcries and they're not taking increase. And it is noticeable, really noticeable, when a tough rare gets tagged by a Warcry and I hit it with an EQ is massively different in how much damage it takes than if it didn't. But hitting all the Warcries is awful. It's not a fun way to play the game when you already have other, you know, I want to be able to use leap slam. I still need to earthquake. I need to be able to move. I'm going to have to sometimes hit my health flask. So when you throw in 4 Warcries as well, granted
is it instant?
No, it's very close, but it's not.
But
instant.
It still staggers you a bit.
Yep.
No way.
Yeah, I have all of my urgent orders at 20%. So that increases the Warcry speed. I have Warcry speed all over the tree.
Though. Oh, right. That's cast speed. Okay. So that would change the stagger speed. Right.
The closer I can get that to 100% Warcry speed, I would be at.
That would be considered instant, you think?
Yeah, I think so. But I think it caps at, well, I don't know for sure. You know what? That's actually probably not true because I definitely have over 100% across. If I looked at everything on my build, it's not instant. There is definitely a stagger to it. It's not the end of the world, but
it doesn't bother you because you're the kind of person where you and I would be equals in terms of what we could tolerate in that regards. And
this
for
doesn't
very different
bother
reasons.
me.
Okay, that's good then.
Well, it does bother me, but not enough to stop the build or try something else. Obviously, with auto exertion, it's a little bit better because there is no. Well, I don't think there was a stagger at all when you used auto exertion. I think it's just automatically casted. I'm trying to remember now.
Well, that's what I'm saying with auto exertion. Oh, right. You're not using auto exertion.
No,
with auto exertion, you don't get any of the buffs, which is really.
What do you mean?
Well, auto exertion has auto exertion is
to me the biggest downside to auto exertion is the mana cost to do the war cry. Like I'm already having to use 15% per war cry to have it on. That to me is a big enough cost to also have the additional cost. I mean, auto exertion does decrease the cost of the war cry. I think it sets the base to 10, which is lower than what the base is of the actual war cries. But the additional cost makes it very, very difficult, at least for me, to try and make it work if I take out blood magic. I'd have to do something.
Yeah, but even if you're using mana, like you're using an extra gem slot, you're using 15% mana. And yes, the supported skill is now 10 mana.
Yep.
Or whatever life multiplier you have. But you're using an extra gem slot and 15% mana. And supported war cries do not grant buffs or charges to you or allies. So it's like, what?
To your allies, right?
No, well, supported war cries do not grant buffs to you or allies. So you have to like the war cry for what it is without the buff, which the buff is half of every single war cry. But so like extra gem, 15%, no buff.
Yeah.
What?
Some of them you're still...
What else costs that much? Maybe zombies or the Reaper in terms of investment? Like that's crazy.
I felt like the cost was just too high. I couldn't make it work and feel comfortable doing it. There is probably a way for me to do it and to use it because you do get a big benefit the more war cries you have. But I just couldn't make it work. I tried. I really did. But I just was not enjoying trying to manage mana with that. I just feel like I would have had to have switched up my build so much. And the thing is with blood magic, I just feel like I'm so much, it's so much smoother. It's so much nicer. My survivability is really good. I've got so much health. So it just feels better to me. Like I like it. So I'm just sucking it up with the war cries, but I
still
don't
that's 1, 2, 3, 4
plus a leap slam,
1, 2, 3, 4
plus my health. Yeah. So you're not having to do 1, 2, 3, 4 earthquake, 1, 2, 3, 4 earthquake. You're doing like 1, 2, 3, 4 earthquake, couple earthquakes, trying to get your exertions out. And then you're 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, it is roughly every 8 seconds.
Without a pattern, it's still lots going on in the mind, even though it's an easy pattern, right? Like you need, to me, I need a pattern for it to be brainless.
It's not brainless at all. It is definitely a lot more. My fingers could start to fade out before I fade out from the league, just from playing them. And I get that that's just I don't know, maybe they're fine with that because it's like, well, you chose to do it. The problem is you put them in. I don't know. I don't know why I don't like it. I wish that they had an ability to just like hit a button and cast your war cries, like all war cries or something to that effect. I'm not really sure. And still have whatever that cost is associated to them, or I don't know. I'm not sure what the solution is, but I don't like it. It's too many clicks.
Something like Arcanist brand, but for melee people.
Yeah, I would like to see something because it is really fun. And the fact is, those war cries make my build. If I didn't have war cries, it wouldn't be nearly as fun to play.
Which war cries?
Oh man, I'm using enduring, seismic, intimidating, and what is my fourth one? Oh, battle mage. And the only reason I'm using battle mage is because I'm using it to spread vulnerability. So that's my fourth one. My fourth one is battle mage cry to spread vulnerability. How do you spread
vulnerability with battle mage?
Battle mage cry says so
I see crits.
Yeah, where is it in here? I'm reading it.
Exerts attack trigger
supported spell skills causing them to be triggered. So
you cast battle mage's cry and it casts
anything hit by that war cry gets hit with whatever that spell is, and in my case it's vulnerability. Vulnerability is considered a
spell.
Yep. So I basically have Battle Mage Cry, Urgent Order, and Vulnerability connected. So that's the only reason. I have Battle Mage Cry with Urgent Order because I can't do it without Urgent Order. I need it to be faster.
What's that one? That was the cast speed or Warcry speed?
Warcry speed, that's right. And then Vulnerability. So those are the 3 that are connected to that one.
And it's perfect for the application skills because there's no consequence to application skills. And all it does, the consequence is dealing less damage, but
but it's just the supported skill.
I never noticed that. You could cast minions, you could cast like bone. How many? But it's a supported spell.
Supports spell skills, causing them to be triggered. I don't know how it would work if you had multiple. But
so
supported spells are triggered by attacks exerted by Battle Mage's Cry.
So when I have to use an attack right after that,
it has to be an exerted attack. Yeah.
And so the supported spell triggered by attacks exerted by Battle Mage's Cry, it's still the AoE of the War Cry that's applying it. It's not your Earthquake that's applying it.
Supported. I don't know if it's I actually don't know. I'm not sure.
Supported
it spreads
spells
to everyone.
are triggered by attacks. They're triggered by attacks.
So maybe it's vulnerability
is exerted,
triggered around me then at the time.
But it's triggered
as if
by
I casted the curse, right? It does work. It works really well. Like I have everything hit with vulnerability as I'm running around, which is great. And then I'm also running Pride with what's that blessing?
Guardian's Blessing?
No, Eternal Blessing. So you can only have the one because I'm using Blood
but
Mage,
it doesn't cost mana, right? Your camera's
and
gone.
My camera's frozen. Well, you know what? I'm gonna just disconnect, and I'm gonna be right back on Discord. But I'm still here.
Oh, are these the spicy ones? Justin just left and he's doing like restarting Discord and stuff. I can't tell if these even by smelling them. Yeah, I can hear you.
What,
do you have to restart your computer? All right.
I don't think so. One sec.
Hang on. I'm bagging with pepper. Oh. Nope, these are the normal ones. Whew, good. All right, so I can finish this. Good peppers. No, your gum. Oh, movement. My friend does return.
No, it's a.
I can see his
stupid. It's a different camera.
It's a different camera.
I had a meeting. Oh wow, that is awful. Look at it. Why is this?
Hey, welcome to my world, white blanket.
What is happening? Camera, chill.
I just need to see your gorgeous lips.
I had a meeting.
Don't worry about the exposure.
This week, and I just cannot count on this stupid Elgato, whatever it is, this cam link thing. Wonder if I try and swap now to it. Hold on. Did it just freeze?
Justin swapped to the other. Oh, it's gonna work. No, it's not.
I don't think it's gonna work. Anyway, this stupid. I need to figure something else out because this Elgato is driving me up the freaking wall. But also, why does this look so horrible? All right, well, you're gonna have to suck it up. It's gonna look awful. What is it doing to me?
You're really delayed now too. Can you
it's gonna give it a second to catch up. It'll catch up.
It's been since you swapped back.
Well, you're caught up on mine, so I don't know what to say.
That's all that matters.
Yep.
All right. So Battle Mage.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's working. Battle Mage Cry.
That actually is a very interesting thing to what I've been considering with my build. So keep talking.
What do you mean?
But I'm going to keep it up for me. Battle Mage's Cry. Keep talking about your build.
But that's so. And then I've got Pride on Eternal Blessing, and so I'm getting the benefit of Pride while still being able to have all of my health. Okay. And it's just using Earthquake. And there's been a bit of an adjustment with Earthquake, getting used to it, just because it is slow, right? Like you're doing an attack, then there's damage, but there's also attack from the hit.
But if the damage is worth the delay, then
it feels really good. It's not as fast as, like it'd be cool to have a little bit faster build, but the fact is, if you're playing a big slam, it's just not going to be a super fast build. Right? Sure. And so I'm going to try turning off one thing. See if that's a little bit better once it focuses. Hi. No, right here.
Justin doesn't like how white he is.
Oh, it's off. This whole camera just sucks balls. All right, whatever. So yeah, It's the build's fun. I'm playing. One of my favorite things about Path of Exile right now is the Atlas tree. So playing around with different atlases that I want to test out has been so much fun. I just love that you cannot screw that up. But yeah, I'm playing with Ritual right now because I love Ritual.
Okay. I hate Ritual.
Why?
The new Ritual, they made so many changes to it. It's screen clutter hell, the new Ritual.
There's a lot of stuff. That's true. Yeah. And I'm trying to make even more stuff, right? Like my whole goal is get as much stuff inside the Ritual as I can. But it's fun. I like the whole shopping afterwards, especially if you're going full Ritual and using some of the scarabs. The rerolls are a lot of fun trying to get, I've gotten quite a few divines out of it. And I didn't have a lot of currency to start figuring this build out. So it's been fun as I get more currency out of Ritual and out of the League mechanic to upgrade some of my stuff. And yeah, it's good. I feel relatively tanky. I think the only thing I really want to figure out is I would like to somehow figure out how I can get spell suppression into the build and elemental ailments. So I haven't quite figured those two things out yet, but that's my next goal in my POB, trying to figure out how I could get some more spell suppression. Because I just feel like there's such a noticeable difference once you get spell suppression.
It is kind of sucky how powerful it is compared to the other defense types that exist. I guess I would compare it to block, because block is very powerful as well. So I guess it's one and the same, but it's just it's weird. I don't know. I guess I kind of get frustrated when builds feel like they have to get all those defense types to be super duper. You know what I mean? I kind of wish that there was enough that you had to choose between one or the other. There wasn't space to do more.
For me, it's a little bit frustrating or annoying to be pushing defenses and resist specifically. There's a 75% cap and you can push that max up. But to feel like that's not enough and you still need spell suppression is a bit weird to me. But sure, whatever. I do want to get it into it because I do like spell suppression, but yeah, it's been fun. I've been just going through it. I think my one sort of bit of a frustration has been I really like the town. Okay, first off, let's talk real quick King's March and the League stuff. They cannot get rid of Faustus now. And the auction, or whatever the thing is where you can trade for currencies. I
don't think that'll go anywhere.
Oh, it is the best thing in the world.
Go anywhere as in I don't think they're gonna. I don't think it's temporary. I think
I cannot see them taking it away. Like you can invite them to your hideout, which means I never have to leave my hideout when I want to get some scarabs or when I need some currency to roll. I've been rolling a jewel for fun, so I need alterations because I didn't have enough. I used like 2,000 and didn't get the stupid jewel that I wanted. But I've been having fun doing it. I know I could buy it, but I'm like, nah, I want to do. I did learn some consequences to crafting this week as well, which was good to know. I don't do a ton of crafting. I tend to just buy my items. And so I've been like reading up online about how people craft stuff and all the like block prefixes and then re-roll this, blah, blah, blah. FYI, when you block prefixes and then you try to roll something on it, it removes that 2 divine craft that you just put on to protect your prefixes. So it's been fun doing some crafting side of it. And I love Faustus because I can quickly get the scarabs that I want or some chisels or whatever it is. The problem I'm having with King's March though, is it gets so expensive to maintain. Like I'm not putting a huge focus on shipping. I'm playing more with the mappers right now. So fun. And they've actually been like quite rewarding having these mappers run. But it's very expensive. I think if I have my mappers running, my city is costing me like maybe 20,000, roughly 20,000, 25,000 per hour to run, which I know is not high compared to what I've seen some people online. But the fact is I'm only getting 6,000 to 10,000 gold per map, which again, I do understand is okay. So you just do like 3 or 4 maps an hour and you're good. But the problem is you don't want to just maintain. My city's not maxed out. I would like to continue upgrading the city as well. And those are costing 40 to 100,000 gold now to upgrade. So the gold side of it is really become a bit of a frustration point for me. Like it's a weird feeling where I'm mapping to get gold. I don't know how to describe it, but it's the mapping experience feels different. My mapping experience has always been get currency, get drops, whatever. Now it's shifted to also like this get gold mentality, and it's shifted up how I feel when I'm mapping, because I'm like, okay, I need to get as much gold as possible. So I don't know. I feel like it's a bit too expensive to maintain, but I guess there is the other side of it, which is that you're just getting free currency. I've seen people complain about the drops, and I kind of think for me, that's a little bit silly because they're free. I mean, they're free in the sense of, not free in the sense that you have to get gold, but I have people running a map that I'm not going to run anyway, and I'm getting drops out of it. Sometimes divines, you can get the shards you need for doing the Cyrus or the whatever, all of these shaper fights. You can have them running those maps for you.
Do the restrictions of the drops of those maps adhere to your Atlas passive tree?
I don't know. I would assume no, because there's no setting or no option for it. But it's really cool as you upgrade the mapping devices. You get all the 3 map devices. You can have all these map runners. I can only afford to run 1 map device with 6 runners. I think I have on it right now, but they get very, very expensive to run. But again, I am getting free stuff out of them. It's just there's a weird feeling for me with regards to gold now, because I feel like that's why I'm mapping versus the drops are kind of a bonus to me trying to keep my city running. And I do love the city aspect of it. Like King's March is so fun. I really think it's such a cool idea, but it's just, there's been a weird shift for me mentally on like, why am I mapping and what am I looking for? And like, okay, I'll take the drops, but also could I please have more gold? So, but it's been fun. I really like it. I'm so glad I did switch up to a slam build. It's way more survivable for me. Like it's slower. I could clear a map way faster with my lightning strike guy, but I don't die. And I think now I've got this guy up to 93 as well. So both of them are up to 93 now. And this one I will continue with for the foreseeable future. How's it been for you? How's playing been? Sorry, I rambled for a while.
No, that's good. You have me thinking about stuff.
How's it been? How was your
It's
play?
been good.
How's your build?
So at the beginning, I told you that I should bring this back up just in case. At the beginning, I told you that I quickly moved off of zombies and I went to the Reaper. I've been loving the Reaper, but I think I've only cleared the T1 maps. I'm into yellows, like all the way up to T10, but like I'm not getting drops of maps that I don't have at all. So I have very few points into my Atlas passive tree, which fortunately for me, by a fortunate coincidence, I rushed to the block nodes first, so that the content that really bores me or I don't like isn't in my maps. So I was fortunate to do that because I just was able to block all the content I don't want, which unfortunately wasn't going to be ritual, but now it is. I can't stand the new ritual. It's so much screen clutter. Like, unless you're damaged first, you can't see the screen.
I can't see anything. I run in a circle.
And they added so much of the chaos ground damage.
The purple flowers are the worst.
Right.
They're everywhere.
And they come from well off the screen with all of the what are they called? The wisp enemies.
Yeah. It's like
basically they added all the wisp enemies to ritual. But those weren't fun combat experiences for me.
No,
so it's disappointing because I like the concept of ritual, but the actual combat of ritual now, because of the wisp enemies, is just stupid. I don't like it. So unfortunately that was blocked for me. But I'm still with the Reaper and I've been having a lot of fun having no idea what direction I want to take it. It obviously impacts progress, but do I want to do the Reaper, the normal Reaper where, you do the dash and you do the bleed? Okay, well, that's cool and that's fun, and it is actually doing a great job. I'm still on a 4-link, right, in my T10s and T9s, and I'm enjoying sending it into a group. A big AoE, almost everybody's going to bleed. It's going to be a 95% chance to bleed with just the Reaper and its quality, and then chance to bleed and its quality. It'll be at 95%. I'll need 0 investment in a chance to bleed after that. But then I was thinking, I was looking at, okay, well, what are some ways to aggravate, right? So that because what was that bow skill everybody used? Was it ensnaring arrow or something like that, where you would ensnare enemies, but then they would always count as moving, so people would
there was
always
something I
use
remember.
that
I don't know
with
what
the
it is.
Reaper. I think it was that skill.
Okay.
Anyway, that got changed this league, so I'm like, all right. So I'm looking up what other skills or ways there are to aggravate. Aggravate's the new way to say, like, you know, an enemy is always moving type of thing. And there weren't really any skills that I could see, but there was Rupture. And Rupture is a skill. Let me read it for you.
A lot of the bleed masteries and stuff have that in them too. So I have a lot
really?
of that as well. Yep.
I have to consider what bleed is, not for me though. And so it's been quite limiting when not me, right? An ally is doing the bleed.
But these are the ones that I'm talking about are based on exerted attacks. So it's like 25% chance to aggravate bleeding on a target exerted hit by that you hit with an exerted attack.
Sure. And so Rupture support targets take 29% more damage from bleeding per Rupture, but they only apply Rupture if they crit on a bleeding attack. So they have to bleed and crit on the same hit, but then they do 25% more damage from bleed per Rupture that stacks on them, but the bleeding expires quickly. So even if you, like, my bleed goes from 5 seconds to, if I have 3 Ruptures on it, if I focus on my Reaper's crit chance, the bleed goes to like 0.2 seconds, which is almost nothing. Like, sure, it's a huge damage bonus, but like that's basically just changing Rupture into a hit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting, that route, if you want to go that way, because then do you care about that ultimate skill that the Reaper does? Right. So that's been something that I've been playing with there, Rupture support, seeing if that's something that interests me. The tough thing is that you can't actually tell when an enemy's been ruptured in the game. It's all it is a stat. And if they were already going to bleed like crazy, how would I know the difference between, you know, my Reaper's ultimate skill that I make them dash towards and that's bleeding and now the enemy's moving versus did the Rupture go off on that one or not? Like, the bar's going down fast anyway. So it's just one of those tough ones to determine if it's worthwhile. One of the things that I do like is the duration of bleed, but with a 95% chance to bleed, do you care about the duration of bleed? I don't know. So I've been thinking about that, right? But then Rupture support means now I'm focusing on probably the crit chance of my Reaper, because otherwise my Reaper's doing maybe a 15% chance to crit. Well, is Rupture support worth it on a 15% chance to crit? Not on the one skill that has a 4-second cooldown, the ultimate attack, right? Only on the quick default attacks. Okay, well, if I'm focusing only on the quick default attacks, then I don't care about the ultimate damage as much, because the whole build is going to now focus around Rupture and then crit chance. And, you know, like, it's just, where's my focus going to be? Mm-hmm. And so I don't mind that, but it's something to think about. But then I start thinking about, well, if I'm going with the default attack of the Reaper, why don't I just do the triple Reaper build? All right. But then the triple Reaper build doesn't bleed.
Right.
And the one thing I like about the Reaper is that I'm casting the ultimate skill often, right, to try and hit enemies with it. And if the Reaper's dead, well, then I just automatically resummon the Reaper and life's great. Like, my gameplay doesn't change whether my Reaper's alive or dead, though obviously you never want it to die. But with a triple Reaper build, because there's no dash or bleed with that, it's just 3 Reapers, I'm not hitting the button anymore. So I'm like, okay. So then now it's like the benefit of that Reaper for the casual gameplay is kind of gone. Now I'm going to constantly double checking to make sure I have 3 Reapers, as opposed to apathetically hitting the ultimate button whenever it is.
Does the button just resummon the Reaper if you don't have all 3 up then, or what does it do?
The button for the all 3 only summons them, because there's no dash ability
all
with
3
that
or just
version.
The missing ones, or what? How's that work?
Just one. One.
Do they still
So
consume
fun.
other minions?
Yes,
all 3?
They still consume non-Reaper minions, which I don't care about, because that buff, when they consume another minion for damage, the offensive buff has a 25-second cooldown, but only lasts for 6 seconds. So a 19-second dead period is not something I care about in this game at all. So then, I'm thinking, okay, well, triple reapers, that's fine, right? Like that's better than zombies because, zombies, I have to care about having a corpse there. If they die mid combat, it's extremely clunky and I'm probably going to die as I try and re-res my zombies because my corpses are naturally getting consumed by my offering skills. So corpses aren't just readily available in my fights. So I'm like, okay, well, reapers are, a corpseless zombie. All right, let's do that. But then if I'm going that route of a mini minion corpseless thing, I'm like, well, why don't I just do skeletons? Right? Then I don't have to care about if they're alive or dead. I'm just casting them. So I'm in that awkward phase right now of not finding what's perfect. It's just, I really like zombies, but maybe I should have stuck with zombies this time. Well, the people that are complaining on my build are complaining before they even get the build started. Like they're going through the leveling process and they're whining about the build, and it's totally fine. Like I've leveled with the build a gabillion times. It is completely fine, but and I advertise 100%. This is a hardcore build. Like 100 times I've said this is defense over offense, right? If you want offense, go somewhere else. This is a hardcore build and you're not going to be my version of hardcore isn't offense first, it's defense first. So if you want offense, go somewhere else. And then the offense. And I played the build 100,000 times. It's not like it's a new concept that I've never put to gameplay. So anyway, it's the same people that are complaining about how that build deals with league mechanics and the difficulty of league mechanics as opposed to just the core content. So I don't really have a good frame of reference, so I haven't played the zombie build with the league content yet. But either way, there's still something very sexy to me about not needing a corpse to stay alive in a boss fight if your boss was coupled with stupid mods. You want bosses to have stupid mods. That's where the drops come from. So it's been kind of that awkward thing where it's like, okay, well then, the Reaper, but I like this, but if I'm going this route, well then maybe I should add more minions. Well, if I'm adding more minions, then I shouldn't do the Reaper. I should do something else. So then Absolution comes into play.
Are these just thoughts in the head or things you're actually trying out?
I don't know. I've had Absolution in my build and I was running around with it. I'm leveling so many gems that I have so few gems that are actually for my build. Yeah, I'm having a rough time, but a great time trying to figure all this out. So it's been good. I'm still in yellow maps. No new maps are dropping for me, but it's been good. Yeah, Reaper, Rupture. Do I do Phantasms or not? Phantasms are still worth the damage, even though they do 25% less damage because of how the Reaper works. They're still the strongest support gem for minions that exist, as long as the rest of the supports match up. So
you're talking about the lack of map drops. When I do my first Atlas, it sucks because the whole first Atlas I build is just getting all of the map things to drop more connected maps, to drop more higher tier maps. I'm not spending anything on the actual content I want. And now that I'm into tier 16s, I am noticing that when I play an Atlas that is built around the stuff I want. So in my case, I'm using Ritual. I can't remember. I have to double check because I can't remember what else I have in there. With Ritual, I've tested a few things, but way less of the like connected maps drop, higher tier maps drop. Man, I'm struggling to maintain my tier 16, so much so that I go back to my first Atlas passive tree that is all built around Maven and just more maps and more maps. I will run tier 16 maps on that Atlas tree just to generate the maps for me to do on the Atlas tree that I actually like. I cannot figure out, I have to try and like mess around with my Atlas to go like, what am I willing to lose to try and increase the amount of maps that are dropping, because I'm not sustaining T16s, which I don't remember feeling like this before. So I'm not sure if something's changed, but I am really struggling to maintain my T16s without doing stuff. Like I could, there's a map scarab, which has worked great, which is like a 10% increase to maps that drop per roll on the map. So per affix that's on the map, you get a 10% increased chance to drop maps, which is great, but you got to have that scarab, and then you're wasting a scarab slot to run that
if you use it on a poor Atlas passive tree.
And you need to do it on a map that's got like at least 6 affixes, because otherwise you're just minimizing it. So I have struggled to maintain my T16s, but I did get through my whole Atlas passive, my whole Atlas clearing, focusing entirely, which sucked, on an Atlas passive tree that was only made to generate more maps. That's it. It had nothing to do with content at all. Besides,
disappointing.
Yeah. Because there's so many early nodes that give you that percentage chance to drop a connected map, which makes it really strong when you're trying to clear out the atlas and work your way through the atlas. So I took every single one of them, like literally every single one of them in the bottom half of the atlas I had selected.
I have all of the map clusters. So shaping.
Yep.
Shaping.
So I had all those, but if you look at all along the bottom half of the tree, all of the travel nodes are percentage to drop a connected map. Yeah. I have ones that don't even go anywhere. They're literally at the bottom of the tree, just selected, like they just stick out one spot, and I've got those selected, literally every single one of the ones on the bottom. And then obviously wrapping up towards Keurig, which again I don't want later on, so it's not an Atlas passive tree that I'll continue to use. So I'm kind of sacrificing my first Atlas passive tree to just clear the Atlas, and then I start building out my Atlas passives after that for the content I like. But it does suck because it means in the beginning you're just sucking it up and doing all the content and not focusing on the content you really want.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're having a good time though, and you figured it out.
Hello?
Hey.
Frick, I didn't know when I left. Well, I'm back. Sorry about that. I'm back. I am completely lost on this episode. Where were we? Did we figure anything out? Did we sort your build out, Ty? Did we get things?
My build is up in the air. It always was. It wasn't about figuring something out. It was about just,
what have you been
playing? I don't know what direction I want to go. So I'm a Necro with the Reaper. Yeah, just the one Reaper. I did buy, I saw triple Reaper skill. It was only for 1 chaos and it was 15 quality. I'm like, oh, all right.
It's not a popular skill.
So then I went and I'm like, hey, I want that. And they didn't reply. And then I waited like a while. And then again, like, oh, maybe it's one of those because all the other ones were more, even if they were only 5 chaos more. Then there was another one for 3 less quality for 4 chaos. So 4 times as much, 3 less quality. And I messaged them and I'm like, yeah, okay. And then they said, yeah, let's go. So I buy it. And then as soon as I'm leaving that hideout, the person selling for 1 chaos is like, hey, I'm like, oh, you weren't just trying to mark things up and or buy the cheap ones. And as I was buying the one, I bought that one anyway, because now I can level them and then sell them again. But it was funny because they're like, is Reaper good? And I'm like, no.
They message you?
Yeah. I'm like, no, Reaper's not good at all. It requires way more investment than so many other minion skills to just do a tolerable amount of damage like that. No, it's no, you're not missing out. But have fun. And so I did that, and I'm leveling both of those, and I was playing a build where, because it's fun to play with words in Path of Exile. For example, the triple Reaper build says you can have a maximum of 3 Reapers. Well, I did 2 of those Reapers and then my main Reaper, right? So, that was kind of fun.
They don't consume each other
with that. I forget. No, I don't think they do. Let me just, I should know this because I've already gone through.
Do you then have to be really careful to not have more than 2 of the triple one then? Because wouldn't that overwrite? Yes. Oh yeah, okay.
That's right. So for a while I had on cast when stunned, I had the triple Reaper skill, and I was like, something's wrong with this map. My stupid Reaper keeps dying. Like, they added reflect to this map and there's no mod for it. And it was just me accidentally casting
too many times.
I was replacing the big Reaper. The presence of any Reapers weakens your other non-Reaper minions, and Reapers will consume them to temporarily empower and heal themselves.
Oh, so they will eat other Reapers.
And Reapers, no, it says the presence of any Reapers weakens your other non-Reaper minions.
Yes.
And Reapers will consume them to temporarily.
What does it mean, them? It almost makes it sound like
it's referring to non-Reaper minions.
Okay.
So it's a way to keep up buffs,
sure.
Like Feeding Frenzy or Maim, even in this case, like Rupture, right? Because Rupture is one of those stackable supports, kind of like, I don't know, what's the other one? Inspiration support or life tap support, where you just need them linked on the same one, but they all stack together. And so anyway, yeah, having fun.
Cool. That's good.
Yeah, I have no decisions being
I have maps, so I can help you get clearing. So just when we're on, just let me know. I'll give you a bunch of maps.
Sounds
I'm basically just running all my. I mean, it does suck because I really like the node where you get just your favored maps, and I'm really liking Glacier, and I like. I'm trying to remember some of the other ones I've been running, but running that thing sucks when you want to also have the mappers like that in the city, because I don't maintain enough for me. I'm not going to give them to them. So I remember so much in past leagues that I was way over sustaining T16s. And I don't know if I feel like something switched. I feel like they've decreased it or changed it, or I'm just like insanely unlucky, but I cannot sustain them.
Do you think map sustain should be natural?
Yes.
No matter the Atlas passive tree, or do you think you should need the Atlas passive tree for basic sustain?
I guess that's actually a fair argument. I don't know where I fall on that. I think it's cool that there is the ability on the Atlas to build it to drop more maps. I think one of the problems is, and I'm bitching from an experienced player's point of view. I think there's a very big risk to a new player to see the Atlas passive and start playing with the stuff that they like and run into a spot where you can't even sustain white or yellow maps. You're not progressing the Atlas because you haven't taken any of the stuff that gives you connecting maps. I mean, when you first start the Atlas, getting connected maps and progressing is slow. You got to run all the T1s, then you start working on the 2s, and you're not filling out all the 2s as you move in towards 3s, and so it's tough if you don't focus the Atlas early on map drops and connected map drops. I do feel like I don't know. I feel like at some point there should be, if I'm running T16s, maybe there should be stuff at the top of the tree that gives you something. Like the map stuff that's at the top of the tree is all based around explicits. It has nothing to do with sustaining maps. It's all about making the maps harder. Like the actual map nodes that are in the top part of the Atlas tree, even the major nodes that are up there, they are all about making the maps harder, increasing the explicits, which is great for when you're running them and farming them for stuff, but it does not help you at all for sustaining. I do understand that there's scarab stuff that you can run now with that to increase it, but I want to use the scarabs for the content I want. I don't want to use the scarabs for the drop. I don't know, man. I do see both sides of it. I would like to just see there was some natural feeling of sustain in maps, especially because that is the end game. But I also can see on their side where it makes the Atlas more necessary for map sustain, but I don't know if I like it.
I don't know. I think you're in a dangerous play. To me, I get both sides as well, but I think especially from a free-to-play game perspective, sustain needs to be natural. And then focus, if you wanted to invest, it would be on specific things, like how they have things like Conqueror maps that can drop more, or more of the Shaper or Elder Guardians, things like that. I think sustain needs to be natural, and if you want more, fine. I also don't, but then you have there's a vendor recipe system for upgrading the tiers. You trade in 3 of the same map, and you get. I hate it too, but I mean that's what, if you want more maps, that's what you can do with them.
I would rather go to Kirik and get like the Kirik missions or buying his maps. I would rather use him for helping fill out the Atlas than selling 3 maps.
Sure, but I think the game's in a better state when you're naturally earning more maps. You don't have to focus on sustain. And I'm not talking I'm just talking basic sustain. I'm just talking you're guaranteed 1 map a drop. Like if every single boss was guaranteed to drop 1 map, okay, great. A map of that tier, we could say something like that. Then you wouldn't have to worry about it. Then if you wanted more maps, great. If you wanted to do 1 map at a time, fine. Okay. Whichever, but I think if the boss was guaranteed to drop a map every single time, then the game would be, or the Atlas passive tree would be, you'd have more freedom with it. But that being said, where am I? I'm 20 points in because I'm not getting any, and I'm fine with that. That's not a criticism to the Atlas passive tree. I get that's how it works. I'm supposed to play the game 1 billion hours to try and progress, and that's fine. That's fantastic. So all good there.
Yeah, I don't know totally where I fall. I definitely know that I don't enjoy the beginning part of the Atlas because my Atlas has nothing to do with what I want to play. It is built entirely around filling out the Atlas tree, which is fine because I want to get the red maps and I want to have all the maps done. I want the 115 out of 115. So I build my Atlas purposefully for that in the beginning and just suck it up and go, okay, we need to get the red maps, fill out the Atlas, and then start to have fun and focus my Atlas on other things. But the problem is when I'm focusing on the things that I want, I'm losing out on that sustain. And now I'm not able to continue running the T16s, at least the T16s I want to run.
Sure.
You know, I have every single favorite slot except the feared. And I'm still not, even with the 200% chance for the maps to be my favored maps, I'm not even coming close to sustain, not even close. I have to go back to my other Atlas tree, run it for a bit to get some more of them. And then it's even still a struggle because that other Atlas passive tree is focused on the ones you just mentioned. So the drops for the shaper ones, well, you can't use the 200% chance for your favorite one because you'll lose out on the shaper and elder drops. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I wish
it's okay that it's not in the best place.
I feel like something changed because I don't feel like I've had a league in a long time where I've been so, typically my favorite map slot in the map device is full. The more I do it, I'm over sustaining and I can continue to run the map that I want to run. I do not feel like that this league at all. So we'll see.
Yes, we will.
Yeah, it's been a good week. I'm actually really liking King's March. I think they've done a great job with it, and I'm excited to keep going with it. I hope that gold becomes a little bit better. I don't know. I don't want to focus everything around gold, though. I just want it to be part of what I'm doing. But I am enjoying the shipping, the mapping, the free stuff I'm getting out of it. Like, I don't totally get the complaint about the loot needing to be buffed. I don't feel like every shipment I get in should have a divine, or every map that they run should have the best stuff.
Yeah, no, I don't either. I think it's all fun. Like all of it are resources that doesn't cost the player anything for their character or any other aspect of the game.
Just cool.
So even if all you got was chromatics, I mean, honestly, that's probably my most valued resource because of the amount of times I'm changing my mind in theory crafting. It's all about how many chromatics do I have? Is it worth it? And then that for alterations, but alts are, that's alt and chromatics. Those are the more valuable currency. But anyway, but the point is, I hear you.
Too. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Those things are
if
like
you change
rare.
If you change your mind, you're on a flask. Well,
because you don't get that 5% anymore. Like everything is only 2. It's brutal. And because you also want to get the instillings installed on them. So.
Oh, right. And that costs 5, right?
Mm-hmm. So it's weird now. I have all my instilling things done on like 2 to 10% flasks. I've never had that before. I get that I actually think it's a good change, but it is a big kick in the balls trying to get used to that because it used to always be like, make my flask white, hit it with 4 glass blowers, get it the way I want it, and then put the instilling on. That's not, it's going to cost me 9 glass blowers for each flask. Not anymore. Now it's 10 glass blowers to get it to 20% plus 5. So 15 per flask. Like it's a pretty big increase, especially when I can't find the glass blowers.
And it's not based on rarity anymore, right?
No, it doesn't matter if it's rolled or not. So that's why I instilled them.
That is another thing that is quite nice, if I was remembering correctly, because you can set your flask up. You can put the instilling on. You can start using it. The previous one said don't use it until it's perfect.
Which that's why I say I think it's a good change.
Yeah,
but it's just a kick in the balls getting used to it. Mm-hmm. So I do like it because you feel safe about installing the instilling early because it doesn't make a difference. But I'm just not used to it, and I do find glass. I have a whole Atlas built around the red altar just for when I need to farm up some more glass blowers. Oh,
that's funny.
Mm-hmm.
My Atlas passive tree that I'm never going to get to. You know, it's interesting. We should wrap up soon, but PoE Planner's been glitched. I think I mentioned that last week.
Yeah.
It's still not working.
What's wrong with it?
All my builds I had to convert to POBBs. But I can't access my builds on PoE Planner.
Like it's down.
So I'm having to do
what?
Yeah, like I cannot load my builds.
Oh, get out. Wow.
So only Atlas passive trees. So maybe they made an update and then they went away on vacation. But like all my builds, and that's what I revolve around, because if I make any changes, then it's just live. People use that same URL and it loads all my changes. I have to use POBBs now, which is fine because they added the mobile version like a year ago or something. So you can click on the link instead of just needing to import into POB. You can actually click on the link and it gives you
like the information,
a visual view, which is, I do quite like it. And one actual, on a total side note here, let me quickly bring it up. When you click on the POBB as a link, you can highlight your gems and it tells you where they unlock specifically for your class.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I'm highlighting Culling Strike. Here, let me send this to you quick. Do you want WhatsApp or Discord?
Discord's fine.
All right. So just click on the link itself. And then go to where the gems are. And if you highlight
that's why you were saying POBB. I was like, what is he talking about? POBB. I see the link is a POBB. Yeah. What am I doing? What do you want me to do? Just
go down to gems and then just hover over one of the gems.
Oh, it tells you when you get them. Cool.
Yeah. But for your class, which is really nice.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is. So I really like that aspect because that can save me a lot of text space. And then
all the nodes go in there too. That's cool.
Yeah. And POB doesn't, as far as I know, have a character restriction where POE Planner did.
Sure.
So it's frustrating because it's still offline. I make one change and I have to post a link again, and people have to constantly be checking the build post to see if it's an update. And I'm not going to tweet like 3 times a week, hey, made a tweak, hey, made a tweak, hey, made a tweak. So it is really, I hate offline stuff when you're trying to share it online. So part of me this week was like, I wonder what it takes to convert JSON data onto a website. You know, like making my own POE planner type of thing. Because I was like, this is really frustrating and it's discouraging as a patron. But then I was thinking like, wait, the Atlas passive tree still works. Right. So whatever change they made, fine. Like they can troubleshoot that. But the Atlas passive tree still works. And then I got thinking, what Atlas passive tree would people use if POE Planner didn't exist? I only found one.
Yeah, and it is the POE Planner.
You can't like save it very well, share links.
Like, maybe they're shifting to just doing POE Planner.
They're just doing the Atlas passive tree.
The Atlas passive tree.
Maybe, but I'm not paying for that. So... but I was thinking, like, there's GGG again. I went to go see, okay, well, let's see what GGG's passive tree is like on their website. I went, you can't even click on it.
Do they even have it?
They do. And they have a passive tree, but you can't actually build anything on it. You can highlight and that's it. I'm like, are you kidding? Like, people can't even plan their builds with you?
I need the POE Planner Atlas passive. I literally, that's how I plan all my stuff out.
That is a total that
there's got to be other ones though. I feel like I've seen one on like what are those sites, Maxroll or something? I thought I saw
that was one. That was the other one that I found. I think it was that one. Maxroll like .gg or something like that.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen them on there before.
But it wasn't the same as this. It wasn't as easy to share.
Oh, really? I thought it was, and even to the point where you could have, because I'm just looking at it right now, where you can actually build in like your strategies for like what scarabs they recommend and whether you're going with the eater or whatever. I think it is actually pretty good, but POE Planner has definitely for me been the one that I always go to.
Yeah, but with how this is working for builds, if I have to already move away from POE Planner because of this, I mean, there's no point. So anyway, I thought of that because I was bringing up my POE Planner. I'm going with completion. So like every single node that says get this on completion, like from Map Boss or, you know, everything, I'm getting that. I'm focusing on strong boxes, Harbinger, so I can change up my maps, and scarabs.
Cool.
And I'm blocking 7 out of 10 mechanics.
Cool. I'm not blocking anything. Too many points.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, we got to wrap this up.
I'm glad you're having a good time, and I'm going to try and focus and get something done.
I'll help you get some maps. I got lots.
Thanks, man.
Let's wrap this up. Forever Exiled 253. I'm Justin AK Tags.
I'm Tyler, Wrecker of Days.
Patrons will catch you in After Dark. Everybody else, we'll see you next week for 254. Hopefully your league's going well. If you're looking for more information, you'll find down below. We got a website, foreverexiled.com. We're on Twitter, foreverexiled82. We have a very fun Discord. As mentioned before, pop in there and say hello. And Patreon's other way to support the podcast, also found down below and on the website, as previously mentioned. Goodbye.